The Green Bay Packers get the big win over the Tennessee Titans and win 30-14. It was again a total team effort, and maybe, just maybe, Malik Willis, maybe you give Jordan Love even more time to recover, and maybe, just maybe, Malik Willis can lead this team against the Vikings next week. Now, I'll be at the game, so plenty of videos coming from the game coming up your way next week. But I think it's a genuine question. Should the Packers continue with Malik Willis until Jordan Love is healthy? Now, obviously, you're not going to keep him in there forever because Jordan Love is still the better option at quarterback. He just is. But Malik Willis has played within the system. He's been able to get out, use his feet, have some really nice throws, some nice balls to Christian Watson where only Watson could catch them, and it's a good thing to see. But let me know what you think down below. Let's get into it. Like, share, subscribe, and all of that. But again, Packers were solid. Their defense really came alive. There were some shaky parts towards the middle of the game where it's like, can the Packers fuck this up and give it away? But they didn't. Malik Willis gets the first touchdown of the game, 5-yard run. It's kind of fitting against his former team. He gets the first touchdown of the game. But in the end, Malik Willis had like 6 carries for 73 yards. He was 13 for 19 for 206 yards and a touchdown. He had a darn good game. Again, he didn't do anything absolutely fantastic, but he made some really nice throws. And when I say he didn't do anything overly fantastic, he didn't go for over 300 yards. He didn't rush for 100 yards. He didn't have like 5 touchdowns in the game. That's what I consider fantastic. But he played within the limits of the system, and that's why the Packers are successful. It's a total team effort. Josh Jacobs didn't have the best day. He definitely got stopped up by that strong front led by Jeffrey Simmons for the Titans. But they were able to wear down the Titans and really get some big yards in the second half. Emmanuel Wilson is a really strong second running back to have for the Packers. It sucks that A.J. Dillon is hurt, for sure. But Emmanuel Wilson is just filling in that role better than A.J. Dillon ever could. I gotta be honest. Emmanuel Wilson looks like the better running back than A.J. Dillon has the past couple of years. I'm sorry. It's just a fact. Emmanuel Wilson looks great. Like I said, Christian Watson had some really nice catches where only he could catch them, and Malik Willis deserves credit for making those throws. He looked really, really good. A couple of boneheaded mistakes here and there, a couple of drops. Tucker Kraft went out partly through the game, and I still love Musgrave. I love Luke Musgrave, but he needs to get better at blocking. There was a play where he was walking and he just got pushed off on his ass. He got absolutely destroyed. Tucker Kraft, though, he is a total blocker. He has learned how to block. He can catch still, although he did have that one really bad drop that could have really helped, or end that game sooner. But they look great. And the defense has changed so much from last year. They have as many interceptions through 3 games this year as they had all of last year. They had 3 interceptions today. They had a fumble. They had 8 sacks. They were able to really tee off on Will Levis as it got on throughout the game, and they really pushed their advantage. Now, and they were also able to hold power to only 6 carries for 14 yards. You would have figured Tennessee would have tried to run the ball more, but they really gave up on it, and it was all Will Levis. Will Levis, he did have those 2 bad interceptions, but he, stats-wise, he was pretty efficient. He had some nice throws here and there, but again, it's just like, matter of shortening returns, I suppose. Getting sacked 8 times is just really hard to come back from. And that fumble that he has, where he got absolutely destroyed by Kingsley Enagbare, and then Lucas Van Ness got the fumble. Lucas Van Ness is a future stud for the Packers. He has really come on strong since not having a very pedestrian first year. He looks like he's really taking on the role. And Rashawn Gary is still the highest paid defensive end for the Packers, but in a couple years, it could very well be Lucas Van Ness. I mean, he looks great. He looks fantastic. They had that nice, really pick six where Jair Alexander totally read Will Levis like a book, picked it off mid pass, and took it back to the house. That was where the game really could ended. I mean, it wasn't over. I mean, there's still plenty of games left, but that really pressed their advantage and showed that the Packers were just a better team. Now, going into the third quarter, Packers defense was getting eaten alive by DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins could run any route and get the ball, and he had that really nice touchdown where Stokes just should have been able to tackle him and throw him down, but he just got out muscled and Hopkins ran right in. He just got out muscled, and I still think Stokes has some potential, but I gotta be honest, Eric Stokes is not great. He's not great. And to be honest, when Carrington Valentine is ready to go, I think Valentine should slide in that spot, or should take some spots in that corner spot over Stokes. I'm sorry. I know it's not Matt Valentine's natural position, but he just looks better at times, especially at making plays or causing pressure. I mean, Valentine just looks like the better player than Stokes. I mean, Stokes isn't awful, but he didn't have the greatest day. He made a couple of plays here and there, but overall, he just got beat by DeAndre Hopkins a lot. Now, thankfully, Packers were able to weather that storm with a couple of interceptions and a couple of sacks to really end some of those drives, but man, he leaves a lot to be desired. And then Quay Walker, too. Quay Walker made some good plays today, but again, he just seems to be missing holes here and there where just like does he know the playbook, or is he smart enough? I don't want to say that. I really don't, because I don't play football. I've never had to learn a playbook or anything like that, so I don't want to be over harsh or anything, but it's just like he leaves a lot to be desired. He's talented. He has such great physical gifts. Quay Walker should be the leader at that defense. With as much time as he's played on the Packers, he should be leading by example. But his fellow teammate from Georgia, I mean, Devontae Wyatt is just leading by example on that defensive line. He's getting sacks like nobody's business. He's causing disruptions. He's getting to Will Levis. He's getting the quarterback on a consistent basis, and he just looks better in his position. Now, yeah, linebacker and defensive tackles are certainly different positions, but if you were to do a one-to-one comparison about who is doing better at that position than the other, Devontae Wyatt is definitely a better defensive tackle, at least right now, than Quay Walker is as a, let's say, linebacker. But, I mean, it's not over for Quay Walker again, because he's so gifted. He's going to keep getting chances, but against the better teams, when he misses holes, when he looks lost out there, and he's missing run lanes, and they're able to run the ball or consistently, it's really hard to say he should be out there all the time. It's just being honest. I mean, but again, I want to say it as it's just an outsider looking in, never having played tackle football or having to learn a playbook. It makes you wonder. It just does. But other than that, the defense was solid, causing disruptions all over the field. The 8 sacks is a Packers record, or first time the Packers have had that many things since 2005 against the Bears. There was some asinine stats at the end of the game where the announcer said, "This is the first time the Packers have gotten 2-1 to start a season since 2009." It's like, Packers started out 15-0 in 2011. What are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Now, I guess if they said this is the first time they actually have the record of 2-1 in a season for the first time since 2009, fine. I guess I can see that, but it was a really weird thing. I mean, my dad totally knows that, but it was a great game. Like I said, Josh Jacobs didn't have the best game, but he was still efficient enough, and he still got some good runs, especially towards the end of the game. Malik Willis, while not fantastic, he plays within the system and he looks great. He does. He deserves credit, and I'm sure he's going to get a lot of it, but still, let's be honest, still Jordan Love, when Jordan Love is ready to come back, Jordan Love should be the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. But Malik Willis, at the very least, has shown that maybe, just maybe, the Titans let go of the wrong quarterback, and maybe, just maybe, Will Levis is on a very short leash the rest of the way. I mean, he still's got a pretty big arm, but again, just some of the mistakes he makes out there. He holds on the ball too long. It's absolutely wrecked. That fumble, you just, you know, got absolutely bull rush. That interception at the end was a totally desperation throw that had no chance of making it to a Titans wide receiver. Totally picked clean in double coverage. There was no chance for any Titans wide receiver to really get at that. Again, like I said, the Packers defense was solid. Yes, they gave up that touchdown early on, and it's like, oh no, that's not going to be good. But then they just hunkered down, got to it, and started the second the quarterback of nobody's business. And also, interceptions. The Packers have the same amount of interceptions in 3 games as they had last year. Their sack totals are going to be way higher than they were last year. Now, maybe not individually. By the end of the season, the Packers players are going to have a lot of sacks, but as a team, I think this Packers team could have a team total of roughly 50 to 60 sacks come the end of the season. At the rate they're going, they could definitely get there. And yes, the competition is going to get better. They beat the Colts and the Titans the last 2 games. They're 2-1. They're looking good. They won the 2 games without Jordan Love. And if not for Jordan Love getting injured in that first game, they very well win and start out 3-0. Now, yes, there's still plenty of games to go. The season is going to get tougher, but let's be honest. Looking at some of the games that happened this week and up in their future competition, yes, the Vikings look a lot better than we thought they would. Houston, maybe they're not as good as we thought. I mean, they looked pretty bad against the Vikings today. Embarrassing. It's an embarrassing loss for the Strouds today. CJ Stroud was not good. Nico Collins was not good. Diggs had a decent game, but again, no scoring, and it's obvious Houston is missing Joe Mixon for sure. The Bears, I mean, Caleb Williams had over 300 yards today, but he just looks lost at times, and some of the interceptions he's throwing are not good. Not good. Also, that strip sack by Watu over Caleb Williams was not good as well. Colts get a nice win today, but again, some of the upcoming competition, the Packers are looking better and better by the day to really make a run at that number 1 seed in the NFC. Sure, they have that loss to the Eagles, but they're tied right now, and Eagles still have a tough schedule coming up as well. But in the end, the Packers have a really good shot to lead their team to a number 1 seed in the playoffs this year. Again, the competition has not been great the past 2 weeks, but this is what good teams do. They look good against bad competition. Now, they certainly played a better game this week than they did last week, but for the most part, the last 2 weeks, their running game has been solid. The offensive line has really cut down on some of the penalties. Defense has lit it up with the interceptions and the sacks. I also want to point out this little thing. Jaden Reed had some really nice plays, but he got late hit like 4 times today, and no penalties were called. Like, literally, like, he's getting tackled out of bounds after, like, there's one early in the game where he didn't catch the ball, and all of a sudden the defender comes up and throws him and hip checks him, and there's no penalty. It's like, he didn't even catch the ball, and he gets thrown around like a rag doll. It's like, where's the penalty? What are the refs looking at? The refs need to be better at calling penalties. And also, again, this is totally separate conversation, but last week that hit against Joe Mixon, where Joe Mixon got hurt, was a total hip drop tackle, and they're not enforcing that penalty at all. If they're so concerned about the hip drop tackle, when it happens, you gotta call it. You gotta call it. And it's just obvious that they missed that. But back to the Packers. The Packers look great. Titans are, again, looking for next year. Looking probably at a top 5 selection. Their defense is still looking great, but their offensive line is not very good. They need a right tackle for sure, and they definitely need to consider looking for quarterback. I don't want to say this is the end for Will Levis, but let's be honest. He needs to get better, but who knows if he ever will. It just seems like he's lacking in a lot of the areas you really need a quarterback to see. His decision making has not been good, and although he has a big arm, just because you have a big arm in the NFL doesn't mean you're going to be successful if you don't make the brain plays that you need to make. throughout the game. But Packers win 30-14. Big win next week at home against Minnesota. I can't wait to see that game. I can't wait to go to that game next Sunday. I'll have coverage, of course, going on during the game, taking videos and stuff like that. So look forward to that. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Otherwise, have a great day. And as always, God bless and go Pack Go.